Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saieed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Let me tell you something. It's war and rumors of war. As the book says, there'll be war and there'll be rumors of war when nation will rise against nation. Yes. But we'll talk about that. We'll focus on that in a little while from now. In Trinidad and Tobago, mandatory fixed penalty warning takes effect from today, March 2nd, 2026. According to the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation, under the new system, drivers who commit any of the 18 specific traffic violations will receive a warning instead of an immediate fixed penalty ticket. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, this is something should have been implemented first before the increase of the tickets hit Trinidad and Tobago. But what they did on December 2025, Christmas morning, they came like a cat in the night in your kitchen, silent as a lamb. Dropped it on social media without a warning to Trinidad and Tobago. And thousands of citizens parked down their vehicle because of the fact that their salary and the expense that it would cost to fix their vehicle, they had no other choice but to park it down. Motorists will have 3 or 7 days, depending on the offense, to correct the issue and present the vehicle for inspection. Fail to comply within the allowed time frame will result in a warning being converted into a fixed penalty notice. So Trinidad and Tobago, from this morning on the roads of our country, there will be licensed officers, there will be traffic wardens, and there will be TTPS looking out for vehicles, doing random checks on roadblocks to make sure your vehicle is up to standard or roadworthy, as these 3 security departments would say roadworthy. But the thing is, our road is like donkey mess. Our road is like dog mess. Pothole by pothole by pothole by pothole. Every community you go is bad, stink, dirty potholes in our country. Now, Julian John Ministry have launched a program to fix potholes. That is where it reached to. Fixing potholes. It's sad, eh? It's really sad. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, we still want to say thanks to Julian John and her ministry that she's patching potholes. So, from tonight, viewers, this is what I want you to do. In your community, since Julian John launched the initiative to patch potholes, I believe it was sometime last week or week before, what I want you to do is call me. 339-1670. Call me. Tell me what area you're from, and I will give you a number or an email address to do a little video about the potholes in your community or the bad road. And fast as you're sending it in, we are going to highlight it. Because for the last 9 years, we had some ministers in community, we had some councillors in community, they didn't give a rat scale about the condition of the road. Not the councillor, definitely not the minister, because if the minister used to fix their community, Trinidad and Tobago would have never been in this state. So we have some human errors among the humans that govern their community. You know why I say human error? Because they didn't care how the community looked. They didn't care. 9 years they did not care for the community, and today they still don't care. They're out of power and they still don't care. I wonder if they are ashamed now to drive on the same road in their community. You might end up with thousands of dollars from the bank, from government work. You understand? Because all the corruption that Saddam Hussein talked about, ministers going home with big contracts, affiliated with company that got big contracts. But what about fixing your community? You fix it? No. So there was an error within your brain function in the community. Some of us should go senile, you know. Some of us should just get mad and start walking the road. Some of us should get, our neck should get stiff like this. I started telling all of that on my live program. You know why? All are citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. All drive on the road in Trinidad and Tobago. All make groceries in the supermarket in Trinidad and Tobago. All go to market in the markets in Trinidad and Tobago. In the morning time when they get up and they're driving out, you're hailing your neighbors in the community. But because of the error in your brains, you seem to neglect the community that you come from. You seem to neglect the community that you represent. Such a sad thing. Let me tell you something. You see, just how you play blind to the community, when you come out of power and do nothing for the last 9 years, you should get blind. I am telling you that willfully. It made no sense. You went up to be a minister of a community and you did absolutely nothing for the community in the last 9 years. You should get blind. Some people will say, Said, now it's Ramadan, you're fasting, you shouldn't say them thing. In reality, the road different. You should get blind. It's sad. It's stinking sad. Whenever let's share on Tobago. Listen to this. So, this week, the MV Blue Wave Harmony cargo vessel will sail from Port of Spain to Scarborough at 2 p.m. Monday to Friday as authorities move to restore stability to the inter-island sea bridge. The TNT Island Transportation Company released the schedules over the weekend, signaling a return of some seems balance of normalcy. Passengers will also be allowed to accompany trucks aboard the vessel. On board the vessel, the ships will depart Tobago at 11 p.m. each day. Works and Infrastructure Minister Jolene John confirmed that as for last night, there is no backlog of cargo at the port. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, former government minister Stuart Young and Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal has filed a Freedom of Information Act requesting and seeking official records related to the procurement and operation of the vessel Blue Wave Harmony. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, the opposition wants to know the procurement of the Blue Wave Harmony. So my question is, Stuart Young and Suklal, how much of the taxpayers' US dollars went to Venezuela and what we got? What we got? Can Saddam Hussein enlighten Trinidad and Tobago with documents as to how much US dollar Stuart Young carried to Venezuela? Could that document surface up? That would be nice. That would be nice. Now, the Freedom of Information Act is what they request there. It is requesting disclosure from the National Infrastructure Development Company, NIDCO, concerning the vessel's engagement on the inter-island sea bridge and the use of public funds connected to it. So how come Stuart Young didn't say exactly how much US currency that went to Venezuela? We Trinidadians would love to know. because the tax-paying citizens of Trinidad and Tobago contributed to the purchasing of the U.S. currency that went to Venezuela. Suklal Sagram Singh said, the request is grounded in constitutional value of transparency, democracy, accountability, and responsibility management for public funds. It's sad she should say something like this now. It's sad. So now, I would like Saddam Hussein, since he is an illegal department, to come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago citizens exactly how much U.S. currency Stuart Young spent in Venezuela. That's Trinidad and Tobago money, eh? I want her to understand that. I want her to understand that. So switching gears a bit, viewers. But before we switch gears, have any one of you heard of Sagram Singh lately? Where she was? Since April last year? Anybody know where Sagram Singh was? Come na man, let's say something na man. No, nobody don't. We don't even know where Sagram Singh was. Is she in Trinidad? Is she out of Trinidad? Nobody know where she is. All of a sudden, after April 20th election, boom, you appear in March month 2026 now, asking for freedom of information now. You want to know about accountability. You want to know about management. Let me tell you something. Where was Sagram Singh when the Auditor General Office was asking the Ministry of Finance for documents and receipts on money that was spent, and the Ministry of Finance on that Clongenberg could not provide those documents to the Auditor General Office? Where was Suklal Sagram Singh? Where was she? Where was this woman? It's sad all of a sudden you want to know something. Now Trinidad and Tobago Freedom of Information Act is there for any citizen of Trinidad and Tobago who wants to find out information on government spending, procurement. It is there, it is there. But my point is, where was Sagram Singh when the Auditors General asked the Ministry of Finance for bills that money was already spent for? Where was those bills? They couldn't provide those bills. Till today, they couldn't provide it. They can't. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, Homeland Security Minister denies missing Brent Thomas files. More when we return.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, welcome back to Real Talk. I am looking for this individual, Sterling V. Russell. Mr. Sterling, just how you contacted me a few days ago, please contact me. I wouldn't say for what on the air, but please, 339-1670, you have my number. Contact me tomorrow. If you fail to do so, well then Tuesday night, we go have a different discussion right here on Real Talk. So I give you the benefit of the doubt. Contact me tomorrow, gentlemen. Please, because tomorrow night, you wouldn't like to see this side of Saeed on television with what I had to say about you. So contact me tomorrow and let me just keep it on the low. So Trinidad and Tobago, the Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, says his ministry does not have and has never had any criminal investigation file related to the firearm dealer Brent Thomas. His comments came after the Sunday Guardian reported that a state file on Thomas, which was allegedly lodged at the former Ministry of National Security, now Homeland Security Minister, has gone missing. The report stated that the issue was discovered when the UNC assumed office and requested the file. However, Alexander said, the ministry does not keep criminal investigation files. He explained that criminal file or criminal case file follows a specific legal process handled by the police sent to the deputy or to the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP office, and then return to law enforcement, but they are not stored at any ministry. He added that he has spoken with Police Commissioner Alistair Grovero, and both are unclear about which file is missing, described as missing. According to Alexander, the Brent Thomas matter remains in the hands of law enforcement. So Trinidad and Tobago, tonight since there's a back and forth of the file, who has the file? Who has the file? Because I'll tell you something, this is a big case, you know. This is a big case, you know. Because Barbados PM saying Brent Thomas was not kidnapped. The courts of Trinidad and Tobago, listen carefully, the courts of Trinidad and Tobago is saying that Brent Thomas was kidnapped. They use the word kidnapped. Forced from leaving one country to go to the next. Forced by TTPS police officers with documents. So I am asking tonight that Brent Thomas lawyers, which is the right thing to do, to come out and clarify the matter, saying, you know what? The file is stored at this office, or it is stored at that office, or we have files for the safest thing. Because I will tell you something, for a file to go missing in the Office of Homeland Security, that would be a serious thing. Eh? That would be a very, very serious thing. The entire CARICOM is going to be looking down on Trinidad and Tobago now. And I don't believe that this new administration wants CARICOM, who they decide to step aside from now, is looking at us in a criminal way. That would be really sad. Really, really, really sad. So, we're going now to the war. Trinidad and Tobago, do we know the rippling effects of this war that is presently going on within the United States, within Israel and Iran? Do we know the backlash of this war? I am asking our current Foreign Affairs Minister, Sean Sobers, do you know the outcome of this war and the effects it will have in Trinidad and Tobago and your ministry? Now I am asking Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisasa, do you know the outcome of this war and the effects it will have on the restarting of the refinery? And the people that you went by in the UAE, do you know the rippling effects of that? Let me tell you something. I am the only Muslim in Trinidad and Tobago that is funding a program in this country, that is standing up for this country. And I want to let you understand, I don't beg anyone for ad to run on this program they call Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I have been on the airways for almost 9 or 10 years now. Not one day I have asked for 1 cent from somebody to run this program. I have gotten a lot of legislation and amendment passed. We highlight what the government's supposed to do. We highlight what they didn't do. We highlight the lies. We highlight the corruptions. I have done that for the last 9 years. But when the war started, Foreign Affairs Ministry presently put out a statement, and it was supporting the United States. You were supporting Israel in the war. First thing first, do you all know why Donald Trump and the US administration bombed Iran? I'll tell you something. You see power? Power comes with greed. Why the Donald Trump administration went down to Venezuela? Do you all, now I'll tell you this, you all are ministers. A group of people decided to form an organization. They call themselves a party to represent a country. The country say, you know what? We didn't give only a chance. But to me, you all are a bunch of human beings who just come together for a party. Kamala Prasad Bisasa, who is interim for the second time being a prime minister to this country. One message I have for her. Don't let last year be this year. The last time you was in office, 2010 to 2015, don't let 2010 to 2015 be this term. Because of the fact that was then, this is now. Long ago, I used to, when I was by my grandmother, we used to get up in the morning and go in the lagoon 6 o'clock to tie a goat. That was then. Now, I am a public figure representing Trinidad and Tobago worldwide. Worldwide. So listen to this. Activist Nafisha Mohammed is calling the Prime Minister to visit the Muslim community ahead of her meeting with Donald Trump. Listen to this.
At this time, I am of the view that there ought to be a very urgent meeting of the leadership of the Muslim community, and perhaps our two representatives who are there in the parliament can take the opportunity. It is now viral on the internet, and it shows us certain level of flopping, and that is why I'm suggesting that there be a meeting of the mind.
So now, Trinidad and Tobago, I want to let you understand something. Peter Wickham, Director of Caribbean Development Research Service, has warned that close alignment with Trump could pose long-term political risk. Listen to this.
Once Trump has her back, she has his back. She'll be fine for the time being. The reality, however, is that Trump will be there forever.
Political analyst Derry Ramsamouj said the effects of the government position may be gradually. Now listen to this.
However, you would have some sort of social fallout, not necessarily today, but in the coming weeks and months. We must clearly understand what are the options Iran's leadership will play in this conflict.
Now, viewers, I put in all the cards on the table, you know, so when I start to talk now, and I start to hit them one by one, you will understand why. Patriotic Front leader Makela Pandey also emphasized the economic risk of the conflict presently with foreign policies. Now listen to this.
When energy prices increase, when shipping costs increase, and ultimately when the price of food and fuel increase right here at home. We all know in a small economy like ours, global shocks are felt quickly and they are felt painfully. That is why it is important for the government to clarify and explain its position.
So Trinidad and Tobago, tonight we are going to be taking no calls. Well, let's understand that. Tonight, I'm going to tell you something, it's a different night. It's a different night. Initially, the government, UNC government, has signaled support for both the US and Israel over Saturday attack on Iran, while considering Iran's retaliation strike on US base in neighboring countries. First of all, number one, if Trinidad strikes Tobago for no goddamn reason, and Tobago is going to strike back Trinidad, for the dumb minister, or for the dumb writers, and for the illiterate people that have, who don't know, who does not know about war and what comes after and during our war, it sucks. Or it should not be in that position. The government had signaled the support for both the US and Iran and Israel by attacking Iran. When Iran launched back at them now, all are vexed. What are vexed for? What is the reason to get vexed? Did Iran attack? No. Did Iran send a plane to bomb the country? No. Did Iran launch a missile? No. That's to start with. Now Trinidad and Tobago. Our governments support the United States. Now I will tell you this. The government of Trinidad and Tobago could do what they think is best. But you see, when you hear countries involved, put up the Saturday and the Sunday Express and Guardian. It stinks. Let me tell you something now. You see, when you hear power get to your head, it's a serious thing, you know. When you hear power get to your head and you don't know how to control it, it's a damn sad thing. Sunday Express, TNT backs US strike on Iran. Probably next one, the Guardian. TNT backs US attack on Iran. Come back to me. So when the Express and the Guardian say TNT backs, you see those two people, the one who write it, the one who authorize it, you see those two people who write it and who authorize it to be print? Let me tell you something. If Olia was working for me, Olia would be looking for work right now. Olia would have been looking for work presently. You know what that indicates? Now listen. When the US and Israel bomb Iran, our Foreign Affairs Ministry put out a statement saying who they're supporting. When they realize they make a mistake, they pull back the retraction one time. One time. That was Saturday during the day. Sunday, the Express and the Guardian put out now. Flash it back on the screen there. TNT backs US attack on Iran. 10 bucks US attack on Iran. This is Sunday. So let me tell you something. Saturday, the war started. No, Friday night and the Saturday morning. Let's say the war started, right? Saturday, Foreign Affairs Ministry put out a statement. I have no idea if these people in that ministry, blind, dumb, deaf, stupid, and dotish. We're talking about a war. We're talking about nuclear facility. We're talking about atomic bomb. We're talking about suicide bombers. We're talking about plane. We're talking about rocket launchers. What in all your mind couldn't process the damage that's doing? What in all your God-given educated mind couldn't process the damages that's doing? Boom comes Sunday Express and Guardian. You all know what all I did? Do you all know what you did by printing such a statement? I will ask a question. By those statements going out on the press on Sunday, people go on to say this is a sedition, we're going to say, but I'm saying something. And I'm asking a question to the Express and to the Guardian. Because of the fact that on the front page, all I get so hyper, news to talk about, but ain't thinking about the consequences. If the UN, the Iranians, decides now to deal with small countries like Trinidad, who have 1.4 million people, who have a helicopter or a plane or a battleship to defend us, who have a proper radar system to defend and to detect us or to warn us. If they decide to send some suicide bombers or a plane, one plane, to Trinidad because of all a reckless statement, which one of all you defended Trinidad and Tobago? Which one of all you defending? The person who write it? The person who pass it? The person who print it? The person who distribute it? Which one of all you standing up to defend Trinidad and Tobago? Which one? Which manager? Which general manager? Which one from the printry? Which one who pass it? Which one who say, okay, good, that good, send it as well? Which one all you? Which one of all you decided on doing that? And which one of all you coming to defend Saieed's home and Saieed children home from a bomb dropping a plane, from a plane into Trinidad? Which one? All you should be lucky I'm not in a government office. Freedom of press, but recklessness of press printing have serious consequences. Serious consequences. Now, to the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Sean Sober, this is your ministry. What in all your mind decided to draft that and post it? All you saw where a missile dropped on our girls' schools and 40 girls dead? Who in Trinidad supporting that? I am a Muslim and I will not support that. I am a public figure. I run in 2 financial institutions in Trinidad and Tobago. 2. And I do not condone these kinds of things. All I know what happened in Iran. You all know what happened in Israel. You all know what happened in the Middle East. They're controlling oil refineries and oil rigs and tankers. What we controlling down here? What we controlling? I'm asking all what we controlling? We can control a crime that taking place among 1.4 million people. It sickens me to know that we have people who would spread propaganda to gain power. So let me go to the United States. My question. Donald Trump and his administration said they bomb Iran because of the nuclear bombs and facility. How come they drop a bomb on China? What about North Korea? How come? What about Russia? Why they didn't drop a bomb on Russia? Why? I would like the U.S. administration to answer these questions. Because, you see, those countries that I just called out, they are superpower country. Superpower country. Now, I'm in the media. My job is to ask, define, and bring to you. That is my job. So now, three countries why the U.S. administration didn't attack. Now, Iran have decided to launch now an attack on the U.S. base in the countries that is around Iran. Take note, before the U.S. Marines went into Venezuela, what they did? They secured airspace. They secured sea space. They secured land space before the attack. Am I correct? I am one of the oldest Muslim in Trinidad and Tobago have a show on television that goes live 5 days for the week. 5 nights for the week. You know what we bring to you? We bring to you the reality. That is what we bring to you. Did you see China get in? No, they didn't. Did you see Russia get in? No, they didn't. Did you see North Korea get in? They stand by. The U.S. decided to bomb Iran. Saturday, the war started. Monday morning, price of diesel, European countries has surpassed 50% in risen price. Monilal said, we are in a windfall. Trinidad and Tobago can make a little money. Viewers, let me tell you something here. If you all know how far this could go, is a sad thing. Iranian force attack at Skylight, an oil tanker that was illegally attempting to cross the Strait of Hormuz, setting it on fire, causing it to be sinking. This took place on the 1st of March 2026. Key petroleum fuel experienced a significant hike on Monday following the escalation of conflict in Iran over this weekend. The tanker had 20 crew members, including 15 Indians and 5 Iranians, were evacuated safely following the US and Israel strike on Iran. Iranian media reported that the Strait of Hormuz had been effectively closed. You know what is that? You know what is that? No oil. No oil back and forth. Now, listen to this. Listen to this. You see monopoly and power in playing monopoly. Those who have brains will understand the power in playing monopoly. Venezuela sits on trillions of barrels of oil. Trillions. China has a floating platform in Venezuela. You all aware of that? You all aware of that? China and the United States cannot see eye to eye. Cannot see eye to eye. China started business in Venezuela. China has a floating platform in Venezuela waters. Trump administration went into Venezuela, captured Maduro. So presently, Trump administration runs Venezuela. They determine who get the oil, who do not get the oil. What they did with China, they put a stop. A stop now, so China cannot enter Venezuela. Good, nice. China, on the other hand, doing business with the Middle East. Iran, nuclear power plant. China, nuclear power. South Korea, nuclear power. Nuclear power. Russia, nuclear power. So when China, they transport 20% of the world's crude oil. 20%. And the rest splits up between the other superpower countries. Presently, Trinidad and Tobago, any Congress, Capitol Hill, they are moving motions presently to impeach Donald Trump. Because of the fact that they say it is abuse of power, how he went into Venezuela and captured Maduro. And they have one set of stories going on. So I believe by March month, they have one final decision again to make that would force Donald Trump out of office. Out of office. Now, I'll stick up and right here. Our country, leaders, had talks with the UAE, who were willing to restart the refinery. They were willing to start the refinery. I believe it is costing $1 billion or something. And they were willing to inject that $1 billion into the refinery. We're talking about the UAE here. Remember, Julian John went out. Discussion was held. And they decided, you know what? Julian John, you had a successful flight to the UAE. You come back, you reported success. They decided, good. Our Prime Minister was to favor, well, not favor, but join side with the USA and Israel. It is okay to attack Iran. Really? What about the 40 girls What about the 40 girls in Asula got bombed? Which government is answering for that now? Which government? Is Kamala Prasad, Bisasa, and her administration going to take part blame for that killing? I don't know, I'm just asking. I'm a media personnel. It is my job. It is my job to bring to you what is happening. It is my job to ask questions. And it is my job to get answers. That is my job. Because for the last 9 years, I have been doing it on this program without asking for funds. When the PNM was here, I put them on spot. Now the UNC is here, I am putting them on spot. Are they going to take the blame for 40 girls in Iran being killed? Is Trinidad and Tobago government going to carry that blame? Do you all know about war? Do you all know the effects of war? Listen to this now. Energy Minister Rilal Monreal have stated that a potential $1 billion surge in the energy revenue could be on the horizon for Trinidad and Tobago, driven by escalating geopolitical tension and a restructured Atlantic LNG pricing formula. Listen to this.
Regrettably, these global conflicts do bring unintended consequences to our energy revenues. The ongoing conflict can result in an increase in commodity prices, especially given the importance of the Strait of Hormuz as a major energy corridor. Should this sustained interruption continue, coupled with the impact on production from the Gulf countries, we can expect an increase in both oil and natural gas prices.
He added that in terms of local energy sector increase in oil price will result in higher government revenues. Listen to this.
In terms of the local energy sector, increases in oil prices will obviously result in increased revenue to the government for both exploration and production license via taxes, and for the contracts we have via increased profit share. Further, as a result of the restructuring of Atlantic LNG, the pricing for trains 2 and 3 now include an oil component in the LNG pricing formula, in addition to exposure to an Asian LNG price marker. Both these factors can result in increased LNG prices and subsequently increased revenue to the government.
So Trinidad and Tobago, Iran state media confirmed on Saturday that the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in his compound in central Tehran by joint US and Israel strike. Listen to this.
This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives.
So now Trinidad and Tobago. Meanwhile, Trump grieves for the 4 U.S. service members that were killed during Iran's initial attack in Kuwait and later died of their injuries. Listen to this now.
But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now, again, the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far.
So Trinidad and Tobago, earlier today, the U.S. president said the war with Iran is widening. American troops that, he said, Iran leader ignored the U.S. warning not to rebuild its nuclear program. Listen to this.
Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat.
So now Trinidad and Tobago, our government, listen carefully, listen carefully. Our government, when they put out the post, keep in mind we have 1.4 million people in Trinidad and Tobago. We don't have a proper Coast Guard. We don't have an aeroplane. We don't have an army. We don't have a proper surveillance system in Trinidad and Tobago. We don't have a dome that would shield us from absolutely nothing. The crime and issues of Trinidad and Tobago, TDPS can't even handle it. But our Prime Minister, together with the Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Office, released a statement saying that they support what? Israel and the US in bombing Iran. Stick a pin right there. Stick a pin right there. Listen to what the British Prime Minister had to say. Listen to this.
The only way to stop the threat is to destroy the missiles at source, in their storage depots or at the launchers. The US requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive purpose, because they have the capabilities to do so. Yesterday evening, we took the decision to accept that new request in order to prevent Iran firing missiles across the region, killing innocent civilians, putting British lives at risk.
You hear that? No. Still must stress that the UK role is defensive in nature and pledge that the government will continue to monitor the situation closely while coordinating with international allies to mitigate further escalation. Listen to this.
We are not joining the US and Israeli offensive strikes. The basis for our decision is the collective self-defense of long-standing friends and allies and protecting British lives. It is in accordance with international law, and we've produced a summary of our legal advice, which clearly sets this out. We will keep the decision under review.
They decided not to intervene. They decided not to intervene. Britain Prime Minister decided not to intervene. How many millions people living in Britain? Come na man, Trinidad and Tobago. How much million people live in there? We have 1.4 million people in Trinidad. We don't have what them have in our mechanism defense system. Trinidad and Tobago backs US. Jolene John flew out to the UAE and come back being successful. Who biting tongue now? Who biting tongue now? That is the reality. You see, when you don't think before you release something, that is the reality. So when the UAE now call Jolly now, call you back in. We saw all your statement. What's going to happen with the refinery? What's going to happen with the deal with the refinery? What's going to happen? What's going to happen with the $1 billion deal? You see, when you hear you have power, and you rush to answer something that your voice wasn't called to answer, you just end up in problem. You just end up in problem. So where is Trinidad and Tobago now? Stands concerning the war between US, Israel, and Iran. Keep in mind Trinidad and Tobago. We only have 1.4 million people in Trinidad and Tobago. And we have some people in this country, as you put them in a power seat, you know what, they just get dotish. They just get stupid. You think for 1 second I'm afraid to come and highlight this? No. No. This program is being viewed worldwide. Every city, every country that Synergy television is shown, this program is shown. This program is shown. Speaking at Pentagon today, U.S. Secretary of State Pete Hegseth has claimed that President Donald Trump did not start the war with Iran, but is finishing it. Listen to this.
For 47 long years, the expansionist and Islamist regime in Tehran has waged a savage, one-sided war against America. They didn't always declare it openly, except for their constant chants of death to America. They did it through the blood of our people. Car bombs in Beirut, rocket attacks on our ships, murders at our embassies, roadside bombs in Iraq and Afghanistan, funded and armed by Iranian Quds Force and IRGC killers. We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
Listen to this now.
It took the 47th president, a fighter who always puts America first, to finally draw the line after 47 years of Iranian belligerence. He reminded the world, as he has time and time again, being an American means something unbreakable. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, I have about 30 seconds on the air again. With him saying that, what do you expect Iran to do now? What do you expect Iran to do now? My job is to bring the news to you, ask questions, get answers. I hope the UNC government of Trinidad and Tobago, for the sake of the people, rock back and pay attention. That's all I have to say for tonight. Trinidad and Tobago, we are out of time for tonight. Until we meet again, good night.